Hey guys, Lauren here. Today we're going to talk about how to create logins for each of your staff members. Each yearbook staff member should have their own login and password. They should never share. When you log into Yearbook Avenue, you can go under the Plan menu to Staff. You'll notice there's a couple options up here. The first one is View Activity. Since each student will have their own login, the View Activity button will show exactly what each staff member is doing while they're on the site. It shows every time they log in, every time they save a page, every time they upload an image, etc. So it's really great for grading purposes because you can see exactly how much time they're spending on the site and what they're working on. The Email All button will allow you to email your entire yearbook staff all at once, as long as you enter an email address when you're setting up their login. To create a login for each staff member, click on this Add Staff button. And here's where you'll enter their first name, last name, username. I highly recommend using first initial, last name. Then for a password, you'll enter a password that's at least 10 characters long with one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter. It's going to have at least a number, and the passwords have to match. Okay. For the email address, this is where you enter your student email address so that you can email all of the students at once. And then there's 4 different roles, and it's really important because depending on which role you choose, it's going to have different permissions. So an advisor can see everything on the site, they can access all pages, they can submit pages, so we never ever want to have any students logged in as advisors. The other 3 could all be used for students. So a business manager can access all of the items under the Sell menu. So if you have a student that's going to be entering sales and marketing the yearbook, you can designate them a business manager. The rest of your staff is either going to be a staffer or an editor. So staff members can work on the pages that they're assigned to in the ladder, and an editor can work on all pages. So you should give each student a role, and probably the majority of your staff will be listed as staff. Then there's different permissions down here, and there are some defaults that are preset, but you can toggle other ones on and off. So in the images, you can upload directly to Yearbook Avenue, access the staff inbox. We don't ever want students to be able to delete images and folders, so I would never turn that one on for a student. If you want them to be able to download images from Yearbook Avenue, you can turn that on. And then if you're using Replay It and you want students to be able to move the images around, you can turn that one on. In Create, we never want to have students be able to move pages around within the yearbook, so I would definitely leave that one off. If you have students that are working on the index, you can leave that on. Editing names in the coverage report, that's one that you might want to leave off as well, so that students can't edit those. If you have students that are working on the master template, like adding page numbers to all of your pages, you could turn that one on if you wanted to. Image editing tools, that's generally left on. And then there's some other options here as far as filling portraits, adding and removing from the spell check. So it's really going to depend on what kind of access you want to give to your students. If you, again, have students that are helping with selling the book, you can turn on the sales dashboard so that they can see that. The page ladder, being able to view the page ladder. If you have a student that's going to be assigning deadlines, you could turn that on, assigning staff members. Editing the sections and descriptions is typically left on. Here's the ability to lock and unlock or hide pages. And then most of the elements under Plan are more advisor related. So things like setting up staff members, choosing fonts and text styles, adding events to the calendar, selecting colors, and then updating the task list. So if you have a student that needs access, you could certainly turn that on, but as a general rule, I would probably leave those things for your yearbook advisor. So once you're done with all of that and you've set the permissions, then you just hit the save button and they will be added to your staff list.